So I've got this pot that my mum gave me a couple of weeks ago, and it's got narcissus pink mixed daffodils. Well, obviously narcissus, you know, they're a type of daffodil. So I've got all the bulbs, and I'm just taking those out now that they've photosynthesized and the leaves are all really easy to kind of pull off. And I'm just popping the bulbs in this, which is actually an old citronella candle holder that I've cleaned out, and I thought it would make a nice little terracotta pot actually, so I might get my husband to drill a hole through the bottom and then I can use it as a plant pot. But for now they're going to dry, bulbs in there, and then I'm going to be planting this up with these. So these are some succulents. I actually bought one, gosh, maybe these sorts of sizes, like a really small one, about 3 years ago when we moved into the cottage. I saw it in the garden centre and I was like, those are so cool. Did not know they flowered, and my favourite colour is, one of them is pink. So I thought these would be nice potted up here, and then at the back of the back garden, I've got like a little storage shed, and I thought it would be nice to put some plants kind of on top of that and to give it a bit more of a, a bit more of a colour when we go out the back, because that's where the field is. And I don't know, just add something a little bit nice to it really. So I'm just taking all the bulbs out, and then because it's succulent, I'm just going to reuse the soil. Completely fine with that, and I actually reuse and recycle my soil all the time, and I think everyone should be doing that. I've never really understood people that throw it away. I think if it's absolutely covered in roots and things, then fine, you know, that kind of makes sense to compost that. But when it's just, let me show you, like, you know, that's pretty good soil, to be honest, and I think that will be totally fine for my succulents. I've got a little bit of topsoil in the bucket here that is from my mum's garden. She let me have it, she knows I've got it, and I didn't just go over there and dig up her garden. My succulents, I've got quite a lot of them to go in, and pop it out on display. Right, there we go. That is now ready to go up there, so I'll go put it up there. In the middle we've got wild strawberries, and then on the side, please excuse my washing, we've got succulents here which are not in flower, and then over this side are the ones that are in flower. I'm planting up another pot with these really cool succulents in. I have hundreds of them. Like, I honestly don't know how I've gone from literally one of these to, oh my god, I must have hundreds now. My mum's got some as well I've given to her, and I think I've given my little brother some. And I mean, they just produce the most beautiful flowers. So I've got red ones and green ones, as you can see here. And I'm putting them in this pot so it's got a lot more space for their roots and they can spread out a bit more. This is an example of a very bolted, I think this one's spinach. I'm pretty sure this is spinach. Yeah, I think so. And it's bolted quite badly. So if I pull this out, oh, I thought this would be an example of when I do not keep the soil, but the root systems in those are pretty poor. So yeah, I can keep the soil there. But this one is another one that's bolted, and I think this one was Rocket. Yeah, that's Rocket, and that's bolted, and I wouldn't keep any of the soil there because it's just so rooted and root bound, pot bound, whatever you want to call it. There's a little bit of root in this one here, as you can see, but I would just tease that apart and let it kind of rot down, and then use that to repot something that I've got later. I've got some bee balm here from my mum's garden, so if you weren't already aware, my parents are downsizing. I'm probably not wearing the right colour for gardening, but whatever. They're downsizing from my family home that I grew up in, which is a big 6-7 bedroom house in Avebury, to a beautiful old cottage not far from us here. And they've got a huge garden in Avebury. It was enormous, huge front garden, side garden, massive back garden. And here they've got, it's still a really large garden, but it needs a lot of work doing. And we've also bought the paddock, so there's a lot of plants going to be moved over and coming into the gardens. But anyway, Mum's given me this, which is, that's not it, that's the weed. That's the weed I dug up. That's embarrassing. It's not technically a weed, it's a Welsh poppy. I think maybe I need to go in and get a drink. Sorry, this is the one that my mum's given me. It's bee balm, yeah. And I'm going to be popping that in the garden somewhere if I can find room. I am also thinking of digging up some of my front lawn, which I leave a lot of the lawn to kind of go wild because we do have some orchids growing. I won't touch the sections where the native orchids are growing, so we've got a common spotted orchid in the front garden, and we've also got some pyramidal orchids in the hedgerow, though I've not seen them this year, but I know they're there. So I will probably be cutting some beds out in the middle and then popping some bits in those. I had thought hydrangeas, something big and poofy and a bit over the top. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll go out and have a look in a minute and fully decide if that's going to be a good idea or not. Okay, so I'm in the front garden, and one of my neighbours over the road is just mowing their lawn, so hopefully there's not too much background noise here, but if there is, I do apologise. So I thought we'd have a look at the two front lawns here, because I am thinking of, like I said, cutting holes in them and maybe putting flower beds in. So we've got one of our orchids here, and obviously I don't want to touch the orchids when I'm digging up the lawn, but I was thinking of popping a flower bed kind of here and another one over here. This side of the lawn is a lot smaller here than over there. We've got a lot more space over there. It's probably about, it doesn't look it from here, but it's probably about 5 meters long. 2, 3, maybe 4 meters long. And we've got quite a lot of space. And the same this side, probably about 2.5 meters looking at that. But I thought it might be nice to dig a bit of it out and pop some hydrangeas in. Over by the front door I've got 2 limelights, and they always look absolutely like amazing and spectacular when they come into bloom. I think their time to shine is kind of October, when they kind of go pinky orange. Over here I've got another hydrangea, cannot for the life of me remember the name of it. It could be a type of climbing one, I'm not sure. I think it's blue. Bluey pink from memory, but don't quote me on that. And then across to this flower bed, this is Annabelle, which everyone knows, Hydrangea Annabelles. And she was only put in last year. I've got hundreds and hundreds of bulbs to sort. Hundreds.
Four.
Not 4. We don't have
4.
4?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we've got literally hundreds, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, there's these ones down here. Do you want to grab those ones? Because those ones are quite low down. I think they're good for you to get. Oh, look in the little bird feeder. Can you see the bird feeder? Look. Who's that that's just jumped down? Oh, who was that?
That was a birdie.
Do you know what type of bird that was? That was a great tit.
Great tit.
Good girl.
Great tit.
So at the moment we are sorting out all the bulbs, aren't we? and these are some of the bulbs we've got. These used to be tulips. They used to be all the pretty flowers that were all along here. Do you remember? And we're sorting them all out, and we are drying them out, ready to... Who's that?
Peppa.
Peppa? Is she looking out the window?
My window.
She is. Here you can see Peppa's looking out. No, I don't think you can see. She's looking out the window up there. And meowing. She wants to come outside, doesn't she?
This one.
That is a big one. Good job. Oh dear, I think you just dropped one of the bulbs.
Oh.
You're doing a very good job. Although I think that one fell down here again, look. This one fell? Should we pop it in? Mummy, do this one.
No, I want to do it after.
Good job.
I'll just say it. Oh, I want to do it.
So down here we've got carrots and leeks, and I've had to put this netting over them because the blackbirds keep coming and pulling them out and they're flying away. I'm pretty sure they might think the leeks are gribblies or worms or something sticking out of the soil. I don't know if you can see them, but they are there and they are very, very fine. If I just point to some along here. I hope this has been a nice kind of wholesome, relaxed, slow vlog. You know, just some real life gardening, that sort of thing. And I will see you on our next video, which is going to be a tour of a gorgeous cottage that we've stayed in up in the Cotswolds. So bye.